Hi, it's Norman Kochnick here for Eyes on Cricket. I'm here with the Steve Waugh book behind me. Luckily, I interviewed him the last few days. It's been magnificent. And his lovely badge. Very, very impressive character. Very nice man. Incredible human being. Incredible human being. Okay, today's program, just a quick update. We know that the Indian team selection for this squad was made yesterday, and there were some 20 players in that, with some 4 so-called reserves or standby players. Interesting enough, they could have taken 30 really away with them, because they're going to need it for the World Test Championship and then the Tour of England. So the important thing to look at there, but I'll go through that squad for you now. The important thing there is not so much look at the team as such, but look who's not included. Probably the most alarming person left out is Hardik Pandya, who simply can't bowl. It's well known that he's not there because his bowling is not scratch. In fact, he won't be bowling at all, and his batting is not sufficient. So Hardik Pandya has been left out, which is rather a disappointment for him. Then, of course, Prithvi Shaw wasn't even considered for the squad because, as you'll find out, that they have Abhimanyu Easwaran from the Bengali area, who's been scoring lots of runs, who's been put ahead of him as a so-called standby opener. So Prithvi Shaw's not even included in the standby allotment of players, which is quite amazing. Bhuvi Kumar, the bowler, who was a swing bowler, who should have been included, you would argue, has not, and that's a third omission. Clearly he has some injuries to it, otherwise he would have been one of the ones selected, so he's not in there. Then you've got to remember, obviously, Colin de Grandhomme's not there, and Navdeep Saini are also not included, and Natarajan. So there's quite a few of this, obviously. Natarajan, Saini, Kuldeep, Prithvi Shaw, Kumar, and obviously Hardik Pandya. These are the players that have been left out. They could have taken them all, quite frankly. The important inclusions are back from injury. Jadeja, obviously, Shami is another, and of course, Vihari. Those 3 players have played significant roles, you would argue, in the series in Australia, and deservedly will come back in. Jadeja is probably the leading all-rounder other than Ashwin, and obviously Mohammad Shami, important bowling component, as well as Vihari, who batted quite admirably, especially in the Sydney Test where they had a draw. He batted well. So they're the inclusions and exclusions at this point. But the overall team squad, we'll go through it for the sake of record. You've got Rohit Gill, you've got the likes of Agarwal, Pujara, and obviously Kohli as captain and Rahane as vice captain. Then you've got Vihari, and they've got Pant as wicket-keeper, with Wriddhiman Saha as a backup, depending on his fitness. Ashwin and Jadeja, and you've got obviously Axar Patel, Washington, Sundar, great selections. Obviously Shardul Thakur as well. Then you've got the likes of, Bumrah, Ishant Sharma, Umesh Yadav also an inclusion, Shami and Mohammad Siraj. So there's your 20 plus the 4 standbys, 24 in total. I thought they were going for about 30 actually, but it's a pretty sufficient Indian lineup there, and a great bunch of players. I applaud Washington Sundar being a part of it. Pity about Prithvi Shaw, but Thorpe's not there, is it? Looking at the New Zealand squad now, of course, they had some 4 players that were involved with the IPL, namely Kane Williamson, who captained Sunrise Hyderabad at the very end there, Trent Boult, who bowled well for the likes of Mumbai Indians. Then you got Kyle Jamieson as well, and Mitchell Santner. They're 4 players that will. Kyle Milner's not in there, but they're the 4 players that play in the IPL. Williamson, Boult, Jamieson, Santner are joining their squad, and their squad already announced and already there, I'm pretty sure, is Tom Blundell, Doug Bracewell, Devon Conway. Applaud that selection, great player from South Africa. Then you've got Colin de Grandhomme, my favourite, Jacob Duffy, Matt Henry as a bowler, Tom Latham, Daryl Mitchell, Henry Nichols. Then you've got Axar Patel, Ravindra, almost sounds like an Indian player there, Tim Southey, Ross Taylor, Neil Wagner, and wicket-keeper BJ Watling. So we've got Wagner, Boult, Southey, and Jamieson, quite a foursome. And I think Jorgensen, who's the bowling coach, has been talking very highly about that foursome, almost likening them to the West Indies. So that's interesting. So there are your 2 squads. A few disappointments from India's perspective. Obviously, Hardik Pandya. Kuldeep as well is a bit of a disappointment. Kuldeep Yadav, that is. Natarajan, Navdeep Saini, but Mohammad Siraj deservedly is there. Great bowler that he is. Umesh Yadav, tried and tested. Shami, tried and tested. Bumrah, and Ishant Sharma title tested. But the one that probably is missing is Bhuvi. Bhuvi is certainly one player, Kumar there, who's one player they're going to miss. So there's your two squads. I thought I'd bring that up to speed. Interviewed Steve Waugh. Books there that'll come through very shortly in an interview. My only concern is with COVID, the World Test Championship is earmarked for New Zealand, obviously, between New Zealand and India, earmarked for Southampton as in the Rose Bowl. Then we move into a Test series there as well against England. New Zealand are playing there as well. So there's quite a bit going on in England. We'll be covering a lot of the cricket from there, so watch out. I'm actually going to have a full selection discussion with some learned panellists such as Siddharth and Sumitra and myself, as well as hopefully David Grove and a few others from England, to balance the ledger to talk about selections of India for the World Test Championship. So live shows are back on deck at 10:30 Australian time, 6 p.m. IST, which is Indian time, some 1:30 p.m. in England, and some early in the morning, 5:30 in the morning in USA. But we've got people to get up that time, so you'll be ready to watch, and also from places like Austria and Europe. So there we are. So we've got our live show at 10:30 my time tonight. So I'll see you then. A further live show tomorrow night, and we'll continue doing live shows from now on. Had a bit of a hiatus. Well, I was doing IPL shows with another network, and some of my very late shows. They won't be so late this time, thankfully. We'll get more guests and more people on deck. So this is Norman Koshnik here for Eyes on Cricket. Join me soon. See you soon, guys. Just a notable inclusion of the four so-called substitute or four standby players. We have Abhimanyu, Easwaran, of course he comes from Bengal, he's an opening bat. The bowlers then are Prasidh Krishna, Avish Khan, who bowled well in the IPL, and Azan Nagwaswala, who's also a rather heroic or meteoric rise to stardom. Those three bowlers, Krishna Khan and Nagwaswala, to be brought together with Easwaran as an opening bat. They're the four standbys.